Hello there folks, welcome as we play through our Mechanical Systems Kahoot. I'll be explaining some of the answers as we go through. I did this once before, there was an edit I had to make, and I did actually, this is embarrassing to say, I had a question wrong, despite the fact I made these questions. So just out of full disclosure, see if you can beat my score. My original score that I had without question wrong was 30,564. So I hope not to make the same mistake. Now, I'm not sure if the loading music is going to appear. So we are going to just get started. If the loading music does appear on yours, it actually is an artist named Joe Diffie, a country artist who was big in the 90s, who actually died earlier this week from coronavirus. So it was a bit of a tribute to him. Oh, thank goodness, my username got approved for once. Okay. A simple machine is called simple because it is, and I'll take my time on these so that my point score doesn't rack up too much, and you can beat it. Let's see, it consists of only one machine. That's right, one machine. Okay, yeah, hey, I'm on the leaderboard. That's pretty good. What class of lever is a baseball bat? That would be a third class lever. That's right, kind of like a hockey stick or a shovel. A teeter-totter would be first class lever. I used to call them seesaws, but those days are behind me. A simple machine that converts rotational motion to linear motion is called, well, only one of these rotates, and that's the screw. Okay. Ooh, I've got the highest answer streak. A disadvantage of an inclined plane is that, while it's easier to push things up, we do have to exert force over a greater distance. Yeah. Got to make sure you read questions carefully, just like I was not reading when I got that one wrong. I'll let you know which was the one I had wrong. Okay, Rube Goldberg device has a pulley and 3 ramps. Zarbon is trying to get a ball into a cup. And this is, yes, it is a waste of time, but I think the better answer is that it is a complex machine. It's got several simple components to it. Unless, of course, you have absolutely nothing to do. But hey, why not have a conversation with your family and your loved ones, right? Conversations. I'm so missing from our society today. The function of a linkage in a bicycle is to transfer energy. Okay, so those would be like the chains in the bicycle. Why are automobiles not so big and bulky anymore? Well, that's because they look dorky. People will make fun of you. But also, there are considerations of speed, fuel efficiency, things of that nature. Okay. A transmission is a complex system that transfers energy using, that would be gears, right? Like in a car. You see, we saw pictures of all those different gears. I didn't want to have a picture like that here because that would have given away the answer. Okay. Gears that increase the speed of rotation in a device but reduce its force, this is a tough one, are known as, it's got to be multiplying or reducing. It is multiplying. When they say multiplying or reducing with a gear system, that is actually referring to the speed, not the force. So a reducing gear system, a reducing gear I should say, would reduce the speed, but it would increase the force. So these are the gears you'd want to use when you're going up a hill on your bike, for example. Okay. In a gear train, the gear that applies force to another gear is known as this one's a bit easier, the driving gear. It's the one that's driving the other gear. That guy kind of looks like me, so I guess that counts as FaceTime. Okay. If a machine is 30% efficient, that means that Okay, so 30% efficient is not very impressive. That means that 70% of the energy is converted into an unusable form. It's not really destroyed because you can't truly destroy or create energy. You were just transferring it, converting it into a different form. Like a new religion. Okay, in a device that is 100% efficient, its mechanical advantage will be, so efficiency is mechanical advantage divided by speed ratio. You can also use work to calculate efficiency, but they will be equal if it's 100%, because you take that division and multiply it by 100%. Oh man, it took a long time to answer that one. I brought dishonor to my family. What is the unit for force? Okay. We would use newtons. Yes, named after Sir Isaac Newton. Now this is a big thing I saw in your catapult diagrams. A lot of people were confusing force and work and energy. Work and energy being one and the same. Work is also known as, oh, speak of the devil. How about that? I just spoiled this for all of us. I ruined everything. So it's energy and it's measured in joules. Yeah, so be careful with that. That's one of the things you'll really want to make sure you are knowing your stuff on the test. Okay, which of the following is untrue about pressure? That is that, oh gosh, wait a second. It is calculated by dividing area by force. Wait a second, it's force divided by area. Yes, very tricky. That's why I gave you more time to do that one. And yes, these gentlemen, we heard this song earlier in our first unit. They wrote the song Under Pressure. They performed it together. They recorded their parts separately. But Freddie Mercury, he eavesdropped on David Bowie's part, so he would know how to kind of make them jibe. Ooh, double points! This is my chance to get back in it. Okay. 100 newtons is applied on a hydraulic input piston with an area of 3 meters squared. The output piston with the area of 30 meters squared. So we got lots of time for this one because you need to do a bit of calculation. Remember, pressure has to be the same. Pressure is force divided by area. So if our area multiplies by 10, then our force must also multiply by 10. So 100 times 10 is 1,000 newtons for the output. Yes. Because the pressure is the same for both the input and the output. That's Pascal's law. He really blazed a trail in science. Get it? Because his name was Blaze? Okay. Hydraulic and pneumatic systems allow us to lift huge loads. What is the disadvantage or the trade-off? And this is distance. The distance of the input is more. So it's not like we're just magically increasing force. You may have to be pushing a pump several times over in order to lift a car just a short distance up. But without that system, you would not be able to lift the car at all because the force would just be too great to overcome. Yes. Okay, wow, I've got the highest answer streak of 17. Okay, all of these are complex machines except, so which of these is just a simple machine? That would be a bottle opener because that's just a lever, right? You're prying open the bottle. Yeah. To calculate mechanical advantage, this is the one I had wrong actually, so let's be careful about this. You are taking the output and you are dividing it by the input force. That is correct. Yes, because your mechanical advantage will be higher the more force you're getting out of it. You know, I got mixed up. I had that wrong in the other one, and yeah, but I learned from my mistake, right? That's what we have these Kahoots for. In reality, a device will have less than 100% efficiency because, and that is because of friction, right? Whew. Yes. And now, especially if you have a bicycle and you're using the gears to make you go faster with less force, that will also be something less efficient. But ultimately, we really don't care as long as it's doing its job. This is actually the reason why I'm going through this a second time, because I left the word efficiency out of here. Which of the following represents work being done? Work being done. These are some pretty heavy operations like pushing a bunny around, but no, it's picking up the favorite novel. Because if we're not moving it, this is the key here. If something is not moving, work is calculated by force times distance. And if there's zero distance, that means there's zero work being done. This concept of work is different than how we talk about work, like doing your schoolwork, really just putting a bunch of ink on a sheet. Yeah, that's work, but not in the sense of physics. Pretty wild. Okay. Pulley system has an input force of 45 newtons and an output force of 245 newtons. What's the mechanical advantage? Okay, so output divided by input. You don't have to do the calculations here even because the numbers are so far apart, but you do have to know mechanical advantage is a ratio without any units. So these are distractors right here. It is yellow. Kapow. Yes. Okay. Which of these is not an example of a hydraulic system? Hairstylist chair. Pretty sure that doesn't have any pistons in it. Car braking system sure does. Garage lift does. Electric drill does. It is the hairstylist's chair. That's right. Now, sure, it may have some screws in it. It may have a lever. But the forces are not so great that you actually need to use a pneumatic or hydraulic system. Okay, what unit do we use for distance-related calculations? This one I just want to make sure, because I saw some people using centimeters on their catapult calculation. It is the meter. So if you see a problem where it gives you centimeters squared, for example, that's not great, because you can't convert centimeters squared to meters squared just by multiplying or dividing by 100. You have to turn them back into the one-dimensional unit before you can actually do that conversion. Okay. The area of the input piston is 2 meters squared and the input force is 80 newtons. We get some time here for this one because it takes more time to calculate. So pressure is force divided by area. So that's going to be the same for input and output. 80 divided by 2 is 40 pascals. You might also see it written as newtons divided by meters squared, but it's in pascals here. Yeah. So you really do want to make sure you know the formulas. And honestly, I have no problem if you have them all written out there before you when you're writing this online quiz. I mean, really? I don't care, as long as you know your stuff. Wow, you're designing a super comfortable shoe. What else is an important factor to consider? Yeah, we don't want people to think we're creepy, honestly. And I'm not judging you if you have shoes like this and you go jogging on your own time, right? That's your point of view, but a lot of people might be uncomfortable wearing this emotionally. And of course, cost matters too. If you're using gold to design everything, most people won't be able to buy it, and your product will be a failure. But don't worry, your mom will still think you're cool. She still probably won't wear your shoes, though. Okay, look at that. So really, the score you want to beat, if you beat this one, that's impressive. But my original score, where I had the question wrong, was 30,000 some. So see if you can beat that. But remember, it's not about having the highest score. It's about, can you learn from your mistakes? Are you feeling comfortable going into the quiz? If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to email me. And I wish you all the best of luck in your studies. The quiz itself will be posted on D2L next week sometime. I'll have a news post when it's up. Take care.